Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. Deontay Wilder. He has seen fit to deliver another of his tirades. The sort where he holds court with the media and then proceeds to moan and whinge how he deserves respect. How he's got a great record. People are wrong about him. And generally that the world is against him. So this time in his verbal vomit, which featured an opening act from key apologist Lou DiBella, Wilder not only took aim at media, at fans, but he also directed his wrath at YouTubers, accusing them and everyone else of not doing their research on him. He actually said that multiple times, that it was a key thing. People aren't doing their research. And he challenged people to go do their research. Now, if I'm honest, I was watching this and I was actually starting to get a little mad. I mean, the majority of the facts surrounding Deontay Wilder's career, his conduct as WBC champion, they can be written on one sheet of paper, two tops. Sure, there's been some bad luck with big fights falling over because of opponents failing drug tests. But there's the undeniable fact his team selected 5 fighters in voluntary defences. Yes, voluntary defences. They chose them. And those opponents were overmatched and not expected to win. And they didn't win. And they all got brutally knocked out. And what do we call that? We call that cherry picking. So in his latest rant, because that's what it is, let's not sort of mix it up and confuse it with anything else. It is a rant, plain and simple. It got me thinking about two things. One, I needed to do this video to lay down some truths in a response to some of his outlandish comments. And two, challenge accepted, Deontay Wilder. I accept your challenge. I will do the research. And not just a 20-minute job on Google, but I'm going to go all out on this. I'm going to spend time every day this week digging into old news stories for statements, your statements, and other relevant information. I will lay out the facts, the key statements from Wilder himself in the lead up to him winning the WBC belt, and cover what's happened since, both in terms of fights, statements, and conduct. I should mention, I actually used to do this sort of thing for a career. I was a journalist. So don't think I don't have experience in this, Deontay. So thank you, Deontay, for bringing YouTubers into it, because you made me part of it. You actually directly challenged me and others like me, who actually give pause to examining your record, because it's not all that in a bag of chips like you would have people think. So I will look to have something ready by the end of this week or possibly early next. There's a lot of work to do and a lot of research to do. A quick search of just Boxing Scene revealed 2,500 references to Wilder over the years. So sorting the wheat from the chaff, it'll take a little bit of time. But let's get into his comments from this news conference. You see me all the time saying I'm the best, calling out all these guys. And the best's supposed to face the best, right? I've been doing that all the time. Just because you say you are the best does not mean you are the best. You actually have to fight someone. Someone good. Someone who is considered the best, or your peer, your equivalent. In terms of the best is supposed to fight the best, then why did you actively choose to fight Duhaupas, Spilka, Molina, Areola, and Washington? And sure, while we've had the bad luck with Luis Ortiz and Povetkin, 5 times you have fought B-level fighters. Some would say some of those guys are C-level fighters. You chose to do that. You chose to do that. Your team put you in that position. So no, Wilder, you have not been doing that all the time. Your record proves that categorically. Not a huge deal of research needed on that score. And also, just because you call guys out doesn't mean you get credit for that. You get credit for making the fight and having the fight. Going through with the fight. A call-out does not constitute an offer. And that brings me to the next thing. where Wilder talked about calling out Klitschko from years ago, and essentially he blamed him for a unification between the two not happening. Now, it is true that Wilder, before he was champion, spoke of wanting that fight, and I've found numerous references to it. But I would throw in this into the mix. In 2015, right after he won the WBC belt after he beat Berman Stavern, his co-manager Shelley Finkel told the Tuscaloosa News, and you can find this yourself, just Google some of the keywords here. Look, Wilder is a baby winning the title. It was his first title fight. There'll be a time for unification. There'll be a time for all those things. It's not the right thing yet. Give him a couple of fights. Maybe bring something back to Alabama. Let him develop, just like any other athlete. They don't take someone who is a great college prospect and throw him right in. And this kid is a great prospect. Now, those are some very interesting comments, right? So not only did his management pump the brakes on any unification talk as soon as Wilder won the belt, but these statements also run contrary to Wilder's recent statements that he's made about Joseph Parker. He has said Joseph Parker, as a champion, must conduct himself in a certain way, be ready at all times and fight the best. He actually said the time for development was before you're a champion. So it's a massive contradiction, and he is literally a hypocrite for saying some of the stuff that he said to Parker, because clearly his team positioned him in a certain way after he won the title. I mean, it explains the five guys, the five very beatable guys. They didn't look for a unification straight away. His co-manager said that. That's on the record. That's indisputable. It's a fact. Then Wilder started to get into the media and YouTubers, saying they want to do the report, but they don't want to do the research. They go off hearsay. The fact is, Deontay, while there are some myths and legends surrounding your career, there's more than enough cold, hard facts and evidence to categorically prove your record is not first rate, despite you saying so. So just because you don't like the narrative, because it doesn't gel with your image or view of yourself in the world, why are you trying to blame the media? Paint them in a bad light? Just because they've written some things you don't like, it doesn't mean it's wrong. This whole thing of do the research and attacking fans, it really is a losing bet. It's a losing proposition. Because from the outset, I mean, you've heard in this video, you don't have to dig far into his career or his record to find holes. And they're not little holes. They're the kind of holes that, it's a massive sinkhole and cars and houses get sucked into it because they're so big. You can drive a 747 through the holes. I mean, some of the stuff that he's saying, it's actually just not right. He's actually making stuff up. He says he's fought the best. That is patently false. And these constant attacks on the media, fans, and now YouTubers, what is he actually trying to gain from this? He's making himself look silly. He's driving fans away. Or the people who are on the fence, potential fans. And if you notice, Wilder has a few different personas that he rocks. One is the humble champion. We haven't really seen that often recently. One is the God-fearing preacher. And another is the bad man who tries to remanufacture and reinvent his own history and relevance. And we've seen a lot of that one on social media in recent weeks, and apparently at that press conference. I mean, statements like most feared heavyweight of all time. It is honestly like his mind has detached from reality. Because that is just straight up rubbish. And it's a ridiculous comment. These mixed personas that he's rocking in public, I mean, he should know that it makes it hard for fans to want to know him, connect with him, like him. because you never know what you're going to get. The only consistent is inconsistency. And you might be thinking, well, I'm really going in on Wilder here. And yeah, I am. I've actually tired of his grandiose view of himself, which, given Stiverne is the best name of his record, this grandiose view is not deserved. He is pushing people away with his behaviour, myself included. I'm sure there were many of you who, like me, were on the fence about Wilder, waiting for him to prove himself. But it seems like after 9 years as a pro and 3 as a champ, we are never going to get a true step-up fight. It just kind of has that inevitability that there's always going to be something. I mean, what's he going to do after this fight if Joshua's not available? He's going to go off and fight someone we don't want to see him fighting. And then he'll moan and say, oh, I'm not getting my due credit, my due respect, all that sort of stuff. And he'll wonder why. Honestly, think about this for a second. What sort of champion basically dedicates 10 minutes in a press conference to defending his achievements and calling people to respect him? A very insecure champion. A very insecure champion. It really is beneath him as a champion, and that's what he is. He's the WBC green belt holder. It's beneath him to act in the way that he is. He is actually cheapening the belt with his behavior. And I'm sure Stiverne is starting to pick up a bit of support in the past week or so ahead of this November 4th fight. People I've seen some of it in the comment section in recent videos. There are a lot of people who are starting to want Stiverne to pull something out of his hat and deliver on the night. Because a lot of people, like myself, are tiring of Wilder and his grandiose behavior, all this crap that he keeps spewing. I've seen in other Wilder videos, it's clear that he's looking for validation from fans, going so far as to demand respect and due credit if he beats Luis Ortiz. He said that in a press conference. I mean, who does that? I mean, it's unfortunate that fight fell over. It really is. But berating media and everyone else, it doesn't win you fans or respect. In fact, it achieves the opposite. And it doesn't change your record, and it doesn't alter the fact that you won't be loved by some fans until you beat a top name. You can't just manufacture a record from words, because that's what Deontay Wilder is doing. He's trying to speak his record into greatness, and it doesn't work like that. And telling people to go back and do their research, that doesn't work, because they do the research and it takes 5 minutes and they go, well, there's nothing much here. Stiverne is the best name. And Wilder also spent some time at the press conference going on about another hobby horse of his, that he's not supported the way that he should be in America, and, that he's not getting all sorts of bits and pieces, all that sort of thing. But I'm not sure he gets how boxing works. Knocking out mostly bums for a decade isn't going to turn you into a star. And since you've been champ, you've fought 5 very beatable guys, all whom the casual fan was not familiar with. Do you expect to be winning new fans by fighting no-names? Because to the casual fan, Spilker, Molina, Washington, Areola, Duhaupas, they don't know them. I mean, Duhaupas wasn't even known to, a lot of just general boxing fans before you picked him, from obscurity. The way Wilder talks, it's like he's been fighting killers for 9 years. That's the way that he reps it. And there was an irony in Wilder saying at his press conference that his door is always open, that people's favourite fighter should come see him. See, the thing is, recently on the Boxing Voice, and here comes another fact, he said he would only fight the best: Joshua, Parker, Povetkin, Ortiz. He said he would not fight Dillian White, Jarrell Miller, and Shannon Briggs. I don't know why I even mentioned Briggs. He said he wouldn't fight those guys because he would not get full credit. So is your door open or closed, Deontay Wilder? Because I don't know, because you're sending out mixed messages here. Or does it just depend on who you're talking to at the time? And Wilder was asked what the media and YouTubers were specifically getting wrong. And he responded by saying, anyone who gets in the ring was not a bum. And they were putting their life on the line. So he didn't really answer the question. The next bit didn't answer it either. But he went on to say, you can't ever sound like you need more time for another champion to put yourself in a better position, AJ. I guess I would have to direct everyone back to the earlier quote where his co-manager in 2015 said Wilder wasn't ready for Klitschko. So isn't that kind of almost the exact same situation that he is now saying is unacceptable? Then again, I'm not sure that it is, because Joshua didn't say he was scared. And all that sort of scared business is nonsense. He said he would fight Wilder when he wanted. It wasn't about preparation. He just said he would choose the time. And the difference between the scared thing and what I believe, I mean, Joshua was asserting his dominance as the A side in the equation, because Wilder is firmly the B side. B side for life, as Hitman Boxing said. Eddie Hearn had a great quote, which I tweeted the other week, but I thought that I'll finish with. In terms of commercial value, Wilder's is the size of a peanut compared to Joshua's. That's just straight up savage. And it's a fact, and a hilarious one at that. And if anyone wants to deny that, well, they're delusional as well. Deontay Wilder is the B side. He is not the A side. He will never be the A side if he doesn't fight people. Fighting guys who are, on the edge of the top 15 is not going to win you fans or respect. All it will achieve is doubt. Sure, you'll have your loyal fans, but the rest of us go, well, how good is this guy? Is he legit? And we just don't know. And I mentioned this the other day. There was a Bleacher Report article from 2015. Had him at number 7. Said he looks like he's a really great talent, a lot of potential, but he hasn't fought anyone. We don't know how good he is. And I believe we're still in that same position. And we're almost 3 years on. It's a bit sad. Now, I'm probably going to get some people melting down in the comment section. But I would ask them, tell me what I got wrong. What were the facts that were wrong? There was a lot of research in this video. There were a lot of facts. And I'm going to go into much further depth in my next video on the subject, the research video. So drop a comment. Let me know what you think. Hit like, hit subscribe. I'm out.